Heads
I
up is
can't
gonna be
play any
fun.
better than that. It's impossible.
Heads up against the guy I can't beat today. Wow.
That's ridiculous. And I had the feeling too.
Holy shit. You did.
He folded the knee, so I'm good.
Okay.
What do you think is going to be, the 10 or the 20?
Taking a block. Queen. 3. Fuck. 3.
Easy. Beauty.
Oh, wow. I had 8.
Yeah, I think he started with 40K. It's relatively turbo in the sense that it's minutes are the blinds are 20 minutes, but they go up pretty high. You start with 40K and the add-on probably like 2 hours in is you get like another 70K. So no matter how big your stack is, you have to do the add-on because it's so many chips and everybody else is doing it. So I got a lot of playable hands and head flops for the most part. I gave myself an opportunity to get lucky, but I just played as many hands as I could and played super aggressive. So I used like a loose and aggressive style. And for the most part, worked out for me. I ended up taking it down. We played heads up like 1 in the morning. There's 2 of us left, and like 4 or 5 hands, and came out victorious at the end. So there were a lot of hands I played. There were a lot of interesting hands. I selected a few of them. So early on, I had there was a guy at my table that just beat me every hand. So I mostly didn't even try to stay with him because he flopped the set. When I had King Jack, he flopped a set of 5s. He took a lot of chips from me. But there's another guy that sat next to him. He would take the chips that this guy got from me, but I never got in a hand with him because I didn't have any hands. So finally, he raised, and I had Ace 9 of diamonds. This was after the add-on period, so we were all playing pretty deep. I called, and another player, he might have been on the button or near it, he calls. So we go 3-way into the flop, and the flop came out King, Jack, 9. I have the nut flush draw and plus hit a pair. So the guy leads out a bet, substantial bet. I call, and the third guy calls. So now we go into the turn, pretty big pot built up already. The next card is the Queen of Diamonds. So now I hit my my flush. So the initial raiser, the aggressor the whole time with the big stack, he makes a pretty big bet again. Again, I don't, I just call. I have the blockers for the royal flush, the straight flush with the Ace at 9 of diamonds, and at this point, I'm probably going to go all in at some point, maybe on the river. Even if the board pairs, I'm probably going to have to pay off. So I call his raise, and the third guy goes all in. So I'm happy about that. I go all in. He raises his all in. He had a smaller stack, relatively speaking, to compared to the 2 of us. So he raises him again. He min raises his raise. So I'm like, I go all in. So I go, he has me covered because he had a massive stack. It might have been the chip leader. So he thinks about it for a second. He was like, okay, I'm already invested. It's probably going to cost him another 30K, which would have left him with another 30K to play with for the rest of the night if he lost the hand. So he makes the call. We turn over our hands. Of course, I have to flush. He did not expect me to have a flush for some reason, maybe because I mostly just didn't raise him. He turns over the queen 10. He had the straight already. And the first guy, the smaller stack, had two pairs with the 9 jack. The river comes out, the 2 of clubs, and I scooped up, it's almost a triple up, but it was a very, very nice pot. So I stayed aggressive, playing the same way. And then we ended up breaking up our table, consolidated into 2 tables. 2 tables. So we started at 4. We were down to 3, and now we were down to 2. So they moved us. I think we played 9-handed, 2 tables at 9 hands. So I got to no table. Obviously, have going there with big stack. So from early position, spot maybe like after an orbit, I had 4 or 5 of spades. The hand before had just raised, and then they'd folded to me except for one of the big blinds. He looked like he had a decent hand. Flop came out, king high. I completely missed it. I probably had like sort of connected cards, like 8-10 or something. And when I bet, he thought about it and he folded. So he was probably seething that he folded probably the winner, even though I think he probably had ace jacks that kind of had. So anyway, I raised with the 4 or 5 of spades. So this time he's in the small blind. Everybody has folded. He 3-bets me, pretty big, not huge, but pretty big 3-bet. And the big blind folds, and we go, into the flop. So the flop comes out 8, 4, 2, 2 spades. I hit flops like this like 3 or 4 times during the night. Usually it's the top pair, with the flush draw, and usually not always the nut flush draw, but so I have 4 or 5 of spades. He goes all in, and I say, okay, I call, and I turn over my 4 or 5. He had just ace jack, and he had the backdoor spade, and he looked a little disappointed, but he still has outs. The jack and ace came. It doesn't quite hit the queen of hearts on the turn, and then river, another 4 to just add a little bit of salt to his wound. And I scooped up a big pot. So I played really well. Hit flop. So in a sense, I was running pretty good. So I'll just talk about a couple of mistakes that I made in terms of optimal playing. So blinds for 2,000, 4,000, pretty good player. And I know he's a type player, but of course, as a good player, once in a while he makes moves, but he's usually very, very solid player. So he raises me to, he makes it 12,000. That's 2,004. That's 3x rates. It's a little bit larger than usual. Everybody folds. I'm a big blind. So I had ace 8 of hearts, and I call. I think the mistake was either I should fold or I should just 3-bet him just to see if feels good. But that wasn't really a huge mistake, but nonetheless, it was an error. And then the flop comes out, Jack 9-7. He makes pretty good sized bet. After I check to him, I have ace 8 of hearts. I have the backdoor flush and a straight draw. I put him on 2 big cards unless he already had a pair. So I peel off a card to see a turn. Turn comes out the ace of spades. I check and he checks back. So at this point, like, I don't know what this guy has. King, queen, king, jack. Maybe got worried about the ace. Maybe my ace is good. So like I have the ace in the draw. The river comes out 6. I check again, and he bet, value bet. And I thought about it, and I called him and paid him off. And he showed Jack 9. He had flopped 2 pair, and he made a move. Pre-flop, he had raised me pretty big, and against his image. So another hand that was a mistake, only because I didn't get an optimal payout. I had Jack of Hearts and Jack of Diamonds, and I was in the blind, small blind. Under the gun had raised. So it comes back to me, one other caller. So I 3-bet normal amount. It might have been 3-6. He made it 12. For 15, I made it like 35, something like that, somewhere in that range. Big blind calls, and the initial raiser calls, and the other guy goes out. So flop comes out. King, Jack, 6. So King, Jack, 6 comes out. I make a couple of mistakes here. First, I check, which I guess could be okay. I checked, big blind checks, and the initial raiser, before I 3-bet him, he puts out big bet, like I think he bet 20K. Again, mistake number 2, I should have just re-raised him. I got greedy. Like I want to milk it. I want the other guy to come in. I just called it 20K, and the big blind falls. So turn comes out at 10. So now things are getting complicated. I'm not liking this. I decide to just check, and he checks back, which, made me feel okay. But I mean, this board is terrible right now. I'm waiting for it to pair. The river comes out the ace. Now I lose to a queen. I check, and I was happy to see him check it back. But in retrospect, he was afraid of the queen too. He had ace jack for the 2 pair, and I had my set of jacks. I told him I was being nice, and he said thank you, because he hit the second pair. Even the first one, I think if I re-raised him, knowing after the fact the weekend he had, I would have. I think he might have folded, thinking I had the king. So it worked out that I still scooped up a decent pot. So this went on. We got to the final table. We won a chop. It wasn't a lot of money. It was like a small buy. It's like $100 buy. And first place was like 1,500, something like that. Second place was 9. Top 4 got paid. I think we threw in a couple $100 for 5th place. So a lot more people got their money back, at least for 5th place. And it worked out pretty well. So next week, I'm gonna try to play the WT Prime, the PPT Prime, and at the win. And if I run good, I expect to do well. But I'm a recreational player who likes to occasionally take shots when I have time. So, all right, that was it.